All right. I'm so excited to have you all here. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to share my screen, share a slideshow, and get us started soon. But the first thing I want you to know before we even switch over is this is totally open. Like, if you have a question and need to wave me down or unmute you, I mean, you're fine off mute too, as long as it's quiet where you are. Please do participate, because what I really want is for you to leave this feeling like, whether you've created a vision board before or have not, I want you to leave this feeling like we have a really solid tool and a really solid platform to move into the new year with, because I have just had more fun than ever this year with the vision board. And I think you're going to find out why in a minute. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. And if you're new to Zoom, or if you haven't used it this way, our faces are going to sort of pop to the side, and you can drag them. You can kind of drag the box and move us around. So feel free to do that, or you can minimize so you'll only see me talking up in the corner. I think for the purposes of tonight, I am going to hit present mode for a little while, so then you won't be able to see, I won't be able to see you. When you go into present mode in Zoom, I can't see you. So for you, and I also can't read your chats. So you have to literally unmute. You can answer each other. Or you have to unmute and say, hey, Amanda, hold up a sec. Just so you know, I'm not ignoring you once I go into presentation mode. That's just how it works. All right, does that work for people?
Yes.
Good. Here we go. All right, so you get a little sneak peek of my vision board. I am so excited about this new, some of you answered that you had done vision boards before. Some of you answered that you hadn't. Oh good, Shelly is gonna watch the recording, so she's all set. Some of you have not, and I'm really, really excited about this new way that I've been using the vision board for a little while now. So Feng Shui became a really important part of my life in the last few years, I'm going to say mostly. It's become a powerful tool for me. And the vision board is a powerful tool for me as an entrepreneur. So I mushed the two together and have created this really fun way to vision into the new year. I do hear one person clicking, so maybe just mute unless you need to shout at me, which you're welcome to do. So we're going to cover who am I, why a vision board, what is Feng Shui, a few things to consider, and then we're going to build. What we're going to do is just get one started together so you can really see how I do it, because some of the tools might be new for you. Then we're going to talk about how to use your vision board, and I'm going to give you a little prize at the end. All right, so who am I? Well, here I am, Amanda Kingsley. Those of you who were here at the beginning know I'm a mama of 3, because my little guy came in earlier. He's 4, and my other 2 are 10 and 13. So we're in teenageville and just coming out of toddlerville. And it's been an epically exciting journey, especially now that we're through the holidays, and just absolutely dreamy to be a mama. I married my high school sweetheart. Those of you who were on before also know we had a little high school reunion party last night, just super fun. We're still really close to all our high school friends. I studied women's health and have been passionate about women's health through many, many stages, the last of which was my birth doula business. I did that for about 3 years. And when it came unsustainable for me with 3 kids, I moved into this world of entrepreneurship, mostly through network marketing, but reaching out in many other directions now, like coaching and mentoring. And as I said, I'm super excited about network marketing. So why a vision board? And pop off if you have questions about that. But I just want to go over why a vision board. So for those of you who have, or those of you who haven't done a vision board, I think some of these ideas might still be super valuable to you. This is a quote I heard for the network marketers in the room. You might know Richard Blissbrook. He does the Network Marketing Hero podcast, which is amazing. But I loved this quote he shared recently. He said, vision is 10 to 100 times more effective than goal setting, which many of us know, but I love this part. He said, vision is what creates green lights to reach your goals. And that is really how I see the vision board. So we all have a lot of ideas in our head. We have a lot of hopes. We have a lot of dreams. But when you create the vision board, when you really put it all in one place and you take your energy and your intention and your time and your passion and you just sort of organize your vision into the vision board in this way, you're creating green lights to get to your goals, right? Your vision is not your goal. There's a subtle difference there. You have lots of goals within your vision, but you create those green lights to make stuff happen. And so I just love that concept of sort of like hitting the go button by really having a strong vision. And I also loved this quote, which says, creating a sacred space that displays what you want actually does bring it to life. What we focus on expands. When you create a vision board and place it in a space where you see it often, you essentially end up doing short visualization exercises throughout the day. And so the last time I was on, I was able to, I can't see myself the way this is set up now, but I was able to sort of turn my computer, and maybe someone who's off mute could just say, can you see that framed picture?
Yep, we can.
Cool. Well, that is where I have last year's vision board. So I'm sitting in my office right now at my desk. When I walk into my office through that door there, I see my vision board. When I'm working and I look up at my printer or my file cabinet, I see my vision board. So it's giving me that opportunity all throughout the day to remember my own vision, right? Because we don't always have that, we don't always do it, right? So if it's visual, if it's there for us. I also print. This is this year's vision board. So I print and put this, like this will go on the front of my planner. You can put it in your wallet. You can put it, so when you have it in a space that you're going to see it throughout the day, you're reminding yourself the things that we're going to talk about coming up. And for some of us, whether you put it on your wall or put it on your planner or in your next to your bedside table, for some of us, the process of making it is as important as the final product itself, right? I have put so much clarity and organization and goal setting into the creation of my vision board this year. And so I've really taken time and space. It's like self-care for the mind and the spirit, right? And the journey. So I've taken so much of the value of this vision board creation has happened in the actual creating. And I think for those of you who follow through and create a vision board out of what you learned tonight, or just add pieces of what you learned tonight to a different method, you're really going to find that as well, especially the way I'm going to teach it. So intention is everything. And I really want you to focus on intention all night tonight when we talk about the vision board, and especially when you're working on yours. There's different ways you can do a vision board. The vision board I showed you on my wall is definitely some family. It's all of my vision for last year, for 2017. So a lot of entrepreneurial focus, but you can do a vision board just for your family goals, just for your growth goals, just for your business goals. I think Denise is the only one on tonight. I just did a similar workshop to this specifically for our network marketing business. So we each made a vision board for our network marketing business. And what I did is I took that vision board, you're not going to be able to see it in this picture, but you will later, and I put it in the career section of my general vision board. I also have another vision board within my vision board, which is my dream home. So my dream home vision board won't really change, but it enters this one. So you can do this for anything. It doesn't have to be a business thing. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneurial thing. You can walk away and use this concept of the vision board to up-level any piece of your life. But the idea is that your vision board should make you feel something when you look at it, right? When I look at my vision board, I feel inspired, I feel motivated, I feel grounded, and we're going to talk about all of the reasons why when we look closer at the vision board. Okay, so as I said, Feng Shui has been a really important part of my life. And this probably is what attracted some of you to this particular workshop versus a different one, is that I'm using the concepts of Feng Shui blended into the vision board. So Feng Shui is a practice based on the idea that our homes are a mirror of what's happening inside of us. The purpose of Feng Shui is to get your environment in alignment with who you are and where you want to go, to harmonize your energy with your home's energy. So a lot of people use Feng Shui in their home, in their physical space. I'm going to teach us how to add it to our vision board. I use Feng Shui on my computer desktop. I use it on my personal desk. I use it in each room in my house, in my whole house, in my car. Like, I love Feng Shui. I have manifested or attracted and created and opened pathways and created green lights just so much in my life because of Feng Shui. So why not add it to the vision board, which I also love, right? So I know that Celia mentioned that she had experience with Feng Shui, and I know some of you also have. There are a couple different kinds of Feng Shui, and we are going to talk about Feng Shui that uses the Bagua map. So there's some Feng Shui that uses a lot of like really specific directions, north, south, east, west, and specific coordinates. I use this Feng Shui that incorporates the Bagua map. And so this is what the map looks like. For the purpose of this tonight and for the creation of your vision board, you really don't need to get any more detailed than this. And if the only thing you take out of this map, which you're going to get a copy of, is the colors on it, those colors are really important. So use it as intricately or simply as you decide, but I'm going to show you how I combine this Bagua map with my vision board to just really make my year that much more powerful and focused. Okay, so here's where I didn't ask you at the beginning, and I meant to grab a pen and paper. So I can't see you all, but I'm going to assume that most of you have access to a pen and paper, or we're just going to take a little bit longer on our first question so that you can grab your pen and paper and come back. But here's some things I want you to consider, and I want you to write down with your pen or on your phone or whatever you want to write or document with, 1 to 3 things that answer this question or that come up for you around this question. And again, remember the process of this is just as important as the pretty product we get at the end. So 1 to 3 things that answer the following questions for you. And I think there's about 5 or 6 questions. So I'm just going to take like a minute after each question. But this first question is really important to me. I have a whole program called Live Your Why. My last network marketing team was called the Why Hive. I'm really, really passionate about the why. And the question is, how do you want to feel in 2018? And for those of you who are curious what feeling has to do with your why, we can connect later. But just write down 1 to 3, 5 if you want, words about how you want to feel. Just one word. I want to feel free. I want to feel joyful. How you want to feel in 2018. Now, Denise did this with me the other night for our network marketing business, and I'm going to do it again too, right with you. I'm going to write down my words. I'm going to answer the questions because it solidifies it for me, and it's also interesting to see how they sort of cross. Okay, just unmute and shout out if I'm going too fast, but we are going to move to the next question. So 1 to 3 things on your plate. So maybe you're a parent of small children. Maybe you have a brick and mortar business where you sell coffee. Maybe you have a network marketing company or team. Maybe you volunteer at the local elementary school. So write down a few things that are on your plate and notice whether or not you want to keep them there, right? Maybe it's time to let another mom volunteer at the school. Maybe it's time to, just write a few things that are on your plate and then notice, do I want to keep them on or do I want to move them off? Not sure who that is, but maybe just mute if you don't need to speak. Okay, the next question is, what big goals will you strive for? Now, those of you who know me know that I'm really passionate about the work of Brooke Castillo, who runs the Life Coach School. And her theory is that we should have really big, ginormous, almost unattainable goals, right? We should have some goals that are just so far out that we almost will never reach them, or if we do, it'll be like a miracle happened. So those can be related. They could be like, I want to own an airline, or right, it's huge goal, which is attainable, but also really it's there's my texts are popping up on the screen. It's our goals having some oh, perfect, thanks Denise. Our goals, we want to have attainable goals and we want to have really huge goals that we're just always sort of striving for. They're in our like long-term vision. So write down some really big goals you want to strive for in 2018. I'll give you an example of my really huge, not stupidly, that's a terrible like way to describe it, but like ludicrous goal, which is I do listen to Richard Listbrook a lot. He has a podcast called Network Marketing Heroes. So I wrote down a 2018 goal to get on his show. I have a teeny tiny nothing network marketing team right now compared to the people he's interviewing. But I do want to be on his goals sometimes, on his show sometimes. So I set this really huge goal to strive for, that kind of thing, like something really big. Or it could be to run some kind of nonprofit. Okay, the next question is, what are your small goals, right? And there's two pieces here. What are your small goals and what are your non-negotiables? So your small goals might be, if you're looking at this from a business perspective, your small goal might be to make enough money to pay all your bills and plan a vacation. A non-negotiable might be parenting, right? Like, I am a mother, and parenting is an enormous part of what uses my time and energy. It's a non-negotiable. It comes first before everything. So some of your small goals for the year and your non-negotiables. Now, small goals might be just paying your bills, or it might be like small as in not owning an airline, but also not paying your bills. So maybe hitting 10,000 a month in your business, or putting up a website, something like that, starting a podcast. And we're going to use some of these things that you've written down in our vision board creation. Okay, and the next question is 1 to 3 things. What do you want to remember or check in with? So an example might be, I want to remember to use my oracle cards, right? Like, I want to remember to read my tarot in the morning. I want to remember or check in with God. I want to remember or check in with my accountability partner. I want to remember that I am loved. I want to remember that I am enough. This has been huge for me. I'm even wearing a ring that says I am enough. So this might take a little more thinking, so I'll give you some extra time. And if it doesn't make sense, just skip it. No big deal. None of this is necessary. It's just things to consider, and I'll show you mine as we look closer at my vision board, and it might make more sense for when you create yours. Feng Shui would be an example. Okay, there's one last question here, and then we're going to keep going. And the last question here is, do you have a word for the year? So if any of you here are entrepreneurs, this is probably not new to you, but many of us sort of have a word that we want to be our guiding word for the year. Last year, my word was focus, and I put it right in the middle of my vision board. And this year, my word is support, and I put that right in the middle of my vision board. So, is there a word that you want to sort of guide your year, that you want to look back at the end of 2018 and be like, I remained focused and I got what I wanted to get done? Or, again, like, my word is really interesting this year and different than many people, but it is support. I want to both receive support and I want to give support. So I want to always be putting my attention toward how can I be or receive support? How can I give or receive support? So maybe just write the first word or two that pop into your head. Okay, so if everybody's ready to move on, you can look at those questions again when I send you a PDF of this slideshow. But I'm gonna just show you quickly. This is my vision board as it stands, and I don't anticipate changing it, but we'll see what happens before the new year strikes. This is my vision board for 2018 thus far. What I want to do, you don't have to understand it. It's really for me. I don't need to understand yours. That's really for you. But I have this slide here because I want to show you how I incorporated all these questions into my vision board, just so that you can have a sense of where the pieces are coming together, right? So my why word, the very first question was, how do you want to feel? And my why word has been for many years free. I want to feel free. And so this vision board gives me a sense of that freedom. It's beautiful. My family's there. My husband's there. The ability to have, like I said to you, I think you can see my mouse. Here's my dream home vision board. Here's my network marketing vision board. These flowers, it's just this. It doesn't have to feel free to you, but it feels free to me. And free to me means I can make decisions I want based on who I am and what my values are, unrestricted, right? Like nothing's tying me down. The world is at my fingertips. So when I looked at my board, when it was finished, I wanted it to feel free. And I'll tell you, the first two boards I made this year, I was like, ugh, this is just not right. Something does not feel right. And I think what it was is there wasn't enough space for me. And so when I added all this white space, it just was like, now I feel free and open. So that's where that question comes into play. When you look at your vision board, when you're all done, you want it to feel the way that you want to feel, right? On my plate, what's on my plate? Well, this little section up here, and we're going to talk about why that's here because it is related to Feng Shui in the Bagua map. Let me use my mouse here. My podcast is here, which happens to be with Tara, who's here. This is my website, which is where everything I sort of create lands. This is my blog. This is my coaching program. This is my network marketing business. So the things that are sort of really important and central to me in terms of to-dos, right? Like the things that I've chosen to put on my plate are in my vision board. I'm not going into everything here, but I'll show you where my big goals come into play. This is my dream house. If we zoomed in, you would see a vision board of my dream house, like the thing that I'm working toward. Now, I don't really care if it's exact to that vision board, but it has the feeling to me of that vision board. Another big goal is down here, and this is within this vision board, which is my network marketing vision board. It has some really big goals in it for me. Some of the small goals and non-negotiables, right, is my marriage. Like that's a non-negotiable. That comes before other stuff, just like, these are on my plate, non-negotiables. I'm going to write the blog post every week. I'm going to record the podcasts. These things, keeping these things going, there are small goals that are non-negotiable for the year. This question, I think it's too small for you to read, but it says, are you living your purpose? To me, living my purpose is non-negotiable. My purpose, which I've also done a lot of work to find, is really, really important to me, and it's non-negotiable. Like all of my goals have to be centered around my purpose. And that purpose for me is to hold space for growth. Just like this vision board works up, right? I'm holding space because I want you to grow. And of course, my children and my family. Next is my word for the year. And just like I told you, it's right here in the center. Support. You don't have to be able to read it. I don't even have to be able to read it when I print the tiny one, not the big one. But I know it's there. It's the center of my year. Remember to check in with. So for me, all of these questions, I want to check in. What am I grateful for? I want to check in with my angels and my guides and whether they're animal guides or angel guides or human guides or family guides. I want to remember to listen to other people and whatever is coming into me. I want to check in. Am I giving and receiving support in everything I do? I want to check in here. Do I already know? Am I asking or struggling with something that I already know deep within? That's really important to me. And this, if you're looking in terms of Feng Shui, which we're going to look at more when we create, this is in the self-knowledge and cultivation area. What do I already know that I might be ignoring? Another one would be, this question for me is really important. When I get stuck or I'm confused or I'm not sure, I ask myself, what would love do? It's a question that sort of brings me back to center. So that's kind of the idea of remember, what would I want to remember to check in with? So I didn't mean to quite click yet, but I hope you can see by looking at my vision board how I took the things that were important to consider and made sure they were a part of the vision board. So yours will be different or the same. I don't care. You can follow the same format. But you want all your elements to be in your vision board in some way. This is really important to me. What's a vision without a map, right? Okay, so the way I'm going to teach you to do this tonight, which we're about ready to jump into, we might have a destination we want to get to, right? We have a vision, we can see it, we know what it looks like. But if I see this beautiful place and I don't know how to get there, it's not serving me very well, right? What if I want to stand on those rocks and I want to smell the air and I want to feel the beauty and I want to feel how expansive and massive and gorgeous it is? If I don't know where it is or what roads to take or what airplane to fly on, I'm never going to get there, right? And so we think a lot of people create vision boards that are really more like hope boards or dream boards. Now, there's nothing wrong with hopes and dreams, but we want to have a map. We want to have some sense of how we're getting to the vision. And this is why creating it in this digital way that I'm going to show you is really awesome, because we're going to use this comment section, and I'm going to show you what's going on here, as our map. So we're not only going to have a vision, we're going to incorporate some of the ways to get there into the vision, and that'll sort of sit in your foundation of your vision board this year, if you choose to follow this process. So now we're going to build together. All right, we're going to use a few tools. Like I said in the landing in the page on my website for when you signed up, this is very digitally driven, right? This is a tech-heavy vision board. It's not old school when you used to gather up all your magazines and catalogs and cut and paste and spill wine on it as you were making it. It's not old school. This is like moving into the next generation of vision boards. And the reason I really feel excited about it being digital like this is that I can get exactly what I want in there and I can put it there and then I can use it in lots and lots of ways. So we're going to use Google Drive. We're going to use Pexels. You might also want to use Word Swag. I use that on my mobile devices. That's how I created those gold boxes with the questions. Unsplash.com is another place you can gather pictures, but we're really just going to use Google Drive and Pexels tonight. We're actually going to hit escape here. And before I move to the next section, which is going to be here in Google, I'm just going to come off screen share. Say hello to everybody. Trisha and Barbara, you weren't here when I started, so hello. Does anyone have a question before I show you this next step? Because this is, yeah, go ahead, Jamie. Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. So when you had your questions on each of the areas of the Bagua map, how did you come up with those questions, or how did you choose questions, or even the pictures, what pictures are going to land in each area of your Bagua?
I'm going to show you that in this next step, But basically, I took the Bagua map. Yep, I think you'll understand it in this next step.
Okay.
Took the Bagua map and laid it out over my vision board. So I think that will make sense. If it doesn't, please come back to it.
Okay.
Barbara or Trisha, I don't know what time you came on, so are there any questions I can answer for you before we move into the like how-to part? Good?
This is Trisha. Hi.
Hi, Trisha.
So I think I was just a few minutes late, and everything's making sense, and I'm super excited. So I'm looking forward to this next part, so I can really get some concrete how-tos. Okay?
Yes, this is the how-to part, and this part, we're gonna sort of plug in some of the stuff we talked about, just so I can show you what to do. So I'm hoping some of you will volunteer a little. If not, I will share my answers with you all. I'll definitely share some. So the next part, I'm going to share my screen again. And remember, you're going to have a recording of this. So if anything felt funky, you can also reach out to me anytime. I'm super available and happy to answer questions. So this next part here, I can see Jamie and Denise. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my Google screen. Sometimes I have no idea what these Google things are. Maybe some of you are like, how do you not know who she is and why this is on there today? I have no idea. But Trisha raised her hand, so I think she can see. I'm hoping that's what that means. Just come off mute if you can't. Okay, so we're going to use Google. If you don't have a Gmail account, this will be a little trickier for you. You might want to just create a free one. But you're going to go to Google. And you're going to go to these little boxes here. If you've never used Google Drive, I'm just starting from the beginning so that you can see how I get to Google Drive. These little boxes here are going to bring you to this fun app called Google Drive. I don't even know if it's called an app. I might be making that word up too. All right, and so when we get to Google Drive, and you can just take notes, right? Google Drive. We're going to do this. We're going to click New. And when we go to New, we're going to click More. Some of you might be so tech savvy that you're literally doing this as I'm doing it, which is way super cool. Thumbs up to you. And then we're going to click Google Drawings. Ta-da! When I clicked Google Drawings, it opened in a new window. Okay. Does anyone feel totally overwhelmed by what I just did and you want me to do it one more time so you can see it? Or you're all pretty tech savvy. All right. So remember, this is all about Feng Shui, right? So this is where it gets really, really fun. I just use the shape they pull up with, they start with. But you can, I had to move you out of the way, you can change this. You can go to the bottom right corner and sort of change the shape you want your vision board in. Doesn't really matter how you do it. I'm going to move our faces again. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to go here. See this little mountainy picture thing? And I click Upload from Computer. I don't know if you guys can see this part, but what I'm going to do is go into my documents. You might not be able to see because of the way I shared, but I'm going to pull up a Bagua map. When I send you the information, you're going to have access to this Bagua map, which is one that I created, but you can Google any Bagua map. I think I can read this chat someone just wrote. We can see, yahoo! Okay, so this Bagua map, I'm just going to set it on the side here as a reminder to what it looks like, right? Especially for those of you who are new to Feng Shui, you're going to want a Bagua map near you to look at. And then I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to go to Table. So right now this feels super how-to, but we're going to get into a little bit more of like the vision-y stuff in a second. But we're just in like the basic foundation how-to. So it created, remember the Bagua is in 9 sections. So I just hit insert table and I created 9, right? So I got this box with 9 boxes in it. And I'm going to just pull it. Oh, I can't see, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to just pull it to the edges of whatever shape I wanted. Okay, I did a pretty good job without being able to see. And so now look at this. Now I'm starting to get somewhere, right? I have a blank canvas. It has 9 boxes, just like the Bagua. And so what do I do with it? Now you saw my vision board had a really white background, right? That was really important to me. I just wanted it to feel like clean and crisp and white. So what I did is I took these and I just went right along the box lines. And then this little tool here in Google Drive or Google Drawings, I can make it white. But if you're not into white and you want to follow the colors of the Bagua, you can make it purple. Now see purple. It makes sense why I chose purple there. I just went with white personally, but there's so many ways you can play with this. So I wanted it to go right up to the edges of those lines. Okay, now there's a box. So I can use I'm on a Mac, so I can use Command C to copy and then Command V to paste so that I have that white box in every Bagua. See how it has black lines on it? I can keep those or I can get rid of them. So that would be border color. I can change that to white or transparent and it goes away. For the purposes of tonight, so that you all can see clearer where the Bagua is and how we're doing it, I'm going to just leave those up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in the next few boxes. What I want you to do while I do that, I want you to take a look at this Bagua map. I can click arrange, bring it to the front. And I want you to just take a look. So this area is wealth and prosperity. In Feng Shui, you might think that means like all of your money, right? In Feng Shui, that is like abundant prosperity. That's your yacht and your nonprofit birth center you open in Uganda. That's like an abundance beyond your own and family needs. Your income purposes, your money for paying bills and feeding yourselves and clothing and gear, that's in family and health. Fame and reputation is how people see you, right? It's like how you represent yourself, how you brand yourself in the world. Love and partnerships is not just romantic love, it's all relationships you have with people. So what are your relationships with people? How are you connecting with other people one-on-one? Like what relationships are you building? It's not just romantic love in the love and partnership. Children and creativity is your expression into the world, right? It's your voice, it's your playfulness, it's your vibrancy, it's your creative essence, right? It's how you express yourself in the world. Your center is your health here. Career, I think, is obvious. Helpful people is those we can see and not see. So it might be your business coach and it might also be God. And knowledge and self-cultivation I mentioned earlier. So what I want you to do while I fill in these next few boxes is look at the list you just wrote. And you don't have to be, there's no right or wrong in this at all. There's no right or wrong. It's the most important thing you can take away. Think about where something you wrote on your list might go. Where something might go. So, for instance, you're right. Those of us who are in network marketing, that would go in career. So just if you could each pick one thing you'd be willing to share. We're not going to go through them all because we are running a little late based on getting started late, but I want to show you, just like Jamie asked, how do we know what to do next? Like where to put stuff. So if you can go ahead and do that, and someone can consider volunteering first when I finish up here. I will show you how I sort of go about the next step. And if anyone, based on getting started late or for any reason at all, needs to leave early, remember there is a recording.
So Amanda, if you're talking about something that is in some ways advancing your career, with one of the things that I had was create a mastermind and basically a support system. Because my big goal is to create more connection and have more connection, and not just be a solo practitioner as I've been for so long. So where would that type of thing go? Because it's part career, but it's also a very deep-seated desire to have connection, going to a mastermind, but also I think for me, it's about deeper connection to even further beyond me, universal connection.
Absolutely. So this is the part where I want everyone to remember that, again, there's no wrong answers. And I'm going to show you, just based off of Jamie's question, 3 different places Jamie can put that. And it doesn't matter. What matters is that it feels right to her. Not to me. I'm just going to make some suggestions. It should feel good to you, Jamie. But in the terms of creating a mastermind and working in connection with other entrepreneurs and creating energy around rising together and supporting each other, I would choose helpful people. So, Jamie, if you don't mind, I want to show you the next step. This is what I would do. Remember I said Pexels was a place that we were going to look at? Okay, I'll show you what the homepage of Pexels looks like. It looks like this. It is free stock photos that are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Unsplash is another favorite of mine. So when Jamie says mastermind, I'm going to take the liberty, and remember when she does this, it might be totally different, but I'm going to just write like sisterhood, and I'm going to see what comes up. Nothing came up. So I'm going to write sisters. And these are all like kind of one here. This one might be worthy, but I'm going to try. Oh, this one might be good, right? Let's just go with this one for now. I might write women. I might write teams. Basically, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find a picture of what, oh, this one was, oops, hold on. This one, if you can see, went down into sponsored photos, so it's actually not free. And particularly for the purposes of this workshop, I don't want to use I don't want to steal any images. So I'm going to write like teams. All right, here, let's use this. Okay, right? It's like a bunch of people like coming together. Let's do this thing. We got this. We can do this together. We're going to put all our minds together. And so what I can do is I can either click free download, and it's going to go into my download folder. Or does anyone here please speak up if you don't know how to do a screenshot? On my MacBook, it's Command Shift 4, and I can drag this picture.
I don't, if anyone knows, on a regular PC.
On a PC. Okay, I think Denise does. But you'll Google that because that's the easiest way. But Jamie, you can just click free download and it's going to go into your download file. Denise, if you know and want to write it in the comments, that would be awesome. Or if someone else does. But the way I did that I can just grab what I want, I could like only grab the hands. I could whatever that way. So it's going to go right to my desktop. Then I'm going to go back. Sorry, it's just a little funky in Zoom, but I'm going to go back to my vision board and I'm going to click this image again, right? And I'm going to click upload to computer. And I'm going to click desktop because that's where it just went. Last time I did this workshop, my desktop was much cleaner. Denise can vouch for that. Okay, so I'm uploading this picture that Jamie and I just decided is perfect, and it represents her mastermind beautifully, and it's exactly what she wants to see in her 2018. And when she sees that, she feels empowered and supported, and she feels like she has a whole team of people behind her making it happen. So there's a few things Jamie could do. She could put it in helpful people because she's going to join a mastermind that's just going to totally rock her world in 2018. She could put it in partnerships, right? Because she's going to find just a few people who are going to really create a meaningful relationship with her, and they're going to just power through all of their big life up leveling. She could put it in career. She could hit Command on the Mac. She doesn't have a Mac, but she could hit Command C, and then she could hit Command V. She could put it in all three places and be like, this is going to be the year of the mastermind. Everywhere I need it, right? So she's sort of taking something that's really important to her in 2018, in her 2018 goals, and she's finding where it's most meaningful to her in the vision board. I'm just going to, again, I don't know. I'm not Jamie, so I don't know where it should go, but I'm going to leave it in helpful people and show you the next thing that I do for my vision board. The next thing I do is, as you saw, for me, I'm a question person. So I had those gold questions in every box. For Jamie, there's another way to do this. Or for any of you, there's multiple things you can do here, but I suggest you grab at least one image and one text for each section of your vision board. And I'm going to suggest that you take a text box. Now, there's a concept in visioning. For any of my tribe friends who know Amber Lillistrom, she does she writes herself a letter every year to open at the end of the next year. And it says, like, Dear Amber, you were, the way you went after your goals this year was absolutely inspiring. You hit every single one of them. I'm so proud of you in all the ways that you've grown. So she writes herself a letter. So I might suggest that Jamie now has her helpful people image, and she can write herself a little nugget here that's going to just take her to that next level. For me, it was a question. So she might say, if she wants to stick with the question, she might say, like, who am I meant to collaborate with? And so when she sees that, she's just like, okay, I just gotta take a deep breath. Like, who am I meant to do this with? I've got my helpful people. Who are they? Or she might go like, way to find your tribe, girlfriend. Okay, you see how intimidated I get even typing online? There's like all these errors. Way to find your tribe. Sisterhood in business is the bomb. Like, whatever. So you can use both picture and text to sort of get the feeling, because remember, we want our vision board to have feeling. Get the feeling of how she wants 2018 to feel, to look and feel, and what her goals are. Now, remember, I told you, we're going to do this for one other person just because of the time shortage. Remember, I told you we also want a map for her. We don't just want a vision, we want a map. So this is where I suggest Jamie creates her own map. and she just kind of brainstorms. So she's going to go to this little comment section, and she's going to comment. She's going to write, Jamie, do you know how you might go about finding a mastermind?
No, I have a book someone recommended one chapter in that I have not yet read on kind of how to find your mastermind, because I want more expansive pieces, not just someone who is exactly like-minded and like me,
Yeah.
but who has a greater vision, but we're all different parts of the wheel.
Yeah. Do you know the name of the book?
Off the top of my head, I don't. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. We're just going to write book. We're just going to write book just for the purposes of this. So Jamie's map for her vision, she's going to find her perfect mastermind, and she's going to start with a book. She might start with, what's that? Meetup? I don't know. Networking meeting.
LinkedIn? No.
Facebook groups. I'm just brainstorming some ways that you could find your tribe, right?
It's a chapter in the book, I Hope I Screw This Up, by Kyle Cease.
Cool. So she could write that, right? So now she doesn't just know she wants a mastermind in 2018. She knows she has to do something to find one, right? It's not just going to come out of thin air. She now has a map to get there. So her first step is this book. She's going to read the chapter in the book. So she has a vision and she has a map. And so she has creating this really powerful foundation for her vision board. Does that make sense to people? How we're just taking it to a deeper level so it actually works. We don't want it to be a hope board. We don't want it to be a dream board. We want it to be a piece of your success. We want it to do something for you. So is anyone willing to volunteer for just one more? And I'll show you where and how. And then I'll go back to the slideshow. And then for anyone who wants to stay on late, we can come back here and do some more. But for the purposes, I think someone just chatted and here we go. Amazing. Yay. Okay. No one else wants to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Great. Suzanne, let's do it. Pick one thing on your list that's important to you on your 2018 vision board.
I would say creating daily.
Creation? Or what do you
creating
mean?
daily. Well, whether I work on my photography, or maybe I paint a little or draw something that I'm not doing at all now that really needs to happen to be a part of my map, my process.
I love that. So you don't want to just hit the deadline and pound out a bunch of stuff. You want to be a steady creation, right? So
correct. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can just be a sketch. It doesn't have to be, there doesn't need to be completion. It just needs to be a part of my daily practice.
Okay. So if I were working with Suzanne separately, there's so many ways we could go about this. But for the purposes of time, I'm just going to show you how I would represent that if I were Suzanne. So I'm going to go to Pexels, and I'm going to hit calendar. And I'm going to just look for something that represents to me daily daily planning. So let's just go with, we're going to go with this. I'm going to show you what I might, no, I don't like it. See, I can't even do it. Okay, we're going to go with, we're just going to go with this, right? The 15th, the 16th. I'm going to take a screenshot. And Suzanne, did you say that two of the things you do are photography and painting?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to write camera. I'm just gonna take this one because it's first, and we're gonna move quick here so people don't fall asleep. And then I'm gonna write painting. I have no idea what kind of painting Suzanne does, but we're gonna pretend it's oil. And we're gonna take this, and we're gonna go back to our vision board. Now we have 3 pictures. So I'm gonna, okay, Suzanne, do you have a sense of where you would put this in the Bagua? Excuse me.
I would say knowledge and self-cultivation.
Cool, I love that. So the obvious choice would have been creativity. But for Suzanne, she's probably thinking like, this is an expression of who I am. Like, this is what I know deep within, right? So that's such a good example. Thank you, Suzanne. Such a good example of how there's no wrong here. It's what's meaningful to Suzanne, not what makes sense to me. And so I would put that in, and then I would grab this. And you do want to commit some time to all of this, but you also don't want this to be like a month-long project that you never actually complete. I mean, don't be so picky that you're never going to finish it, because you want it to be useful. Like, it should take you a couple hours to sort of just get something that you can put on your wall and be inspired by. So can you see how I'm taking this concept of her taking daily action, right? And she's doing photography and painting on a daily action, and I'm just shrinking it down and put it right here. So on the 15th, she made a painting. On the 16th, she took a photo. Shrink it. Well, you get the idea. And so then she can also shrink all 3 of those, and she could create a text box. So then I might go to comments. And Suzanne, do you have a sense of anything that would remind you to create every day?
Commitment. Like,
what would be your what's your game plan? Like, what's your map for making that vision actually happen?
Well, take actual steps. You know, at this point, I'm really not doing anything.
Right.
So there needs to be
so
some
she could
footwork.
Time block it, right? She could time block it out, so she does it the same time every day. She could set phone reminders. She could find an accountability partner, right? Okay, so if I were working with Suzanne, I would just brainstorm, and then she would be like, yes, that's what I want to do. And then suddenly she has a map, and now she doesn't just have a vision, she has a way to make it happen. And this can get changed anytime. This is how I use both the comment section and the actual picture to create something that is going to actually be meaningful, right? Is that, like, how's that feeling? Does that make sense, Suzanne, since this was your example?
It feels like I'm taking actual steps to
like,
see a result.
Right.
I'm not just hoping and wishing and thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of the wishing and thinking and, like, make it happen. So if we have it there, and we're going to make it happen. All right. So for the purposes, oh wait, I didn't need to do that. Share screen. I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to finish up here because we've now been going an hour, and I'm not even going to share my screen fully. So once you've created something, and here's mine, right? Like, I created it just like I showed you. I didn't do anything I didn't show you. It's in Google Drive. Now I can hit file, and I can download as. I can do it as a JPEG or a PNG. I can take a screenshot of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it, right? I can make it my lock screen on my phone. Just like I showed you, I can print it and put it on my wall. I can print it and put it on my laptop. I can print it and put it in my steering wheel, right? Like there's so many ways. Now that I have this, there's so many ways I can use it. It's not just like, all right, I was just going to get up and get something. But vision boards in the past were this big, clumsy poster thing that you put on a wall that didn't even look right with your room. And like, it was a thing, but what are you going to do with it, right? So I really love this way of using it digitally. And you can put it as your computer desktop picture. This one I love. You can ask a friend, right? So Denise is one of my very best friends. I can send her my vision board and I can say, all right, Denise, hit me with it at least once a month. I am asking you as my friend to send me my vision board once a month. And so I know Denise will set a reminder and she'll send me my vision board. I might do that with Jamie. I might do that with Cecilia. I might do that with Trisha. I'm like, right? You can find an accountability. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You probably all thought of ways you can use your vision board that I didn't even think of. There's so many ways to use it once you've created it. And I think I don't remember if I told you guys, but the picture that I print on the wall there, I just layer it. So I'm going to put 2018 on top of 2017. For me, that's meaningful because it's like I'm creating a foundation of how I've grown and changed. And so it's always there. And they're just going to keep stacking on top of each other. Okay. And I told you I was going to do a little giveaway here. So for anyone who actually does this, right? Because you can learn a lot of things and then you can go home and you can never do it. But I want you guys to do this. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be meaningful. So, and I don't care what it looks like. I want you to care what it looks like, or at least have it be meaningful to you. So for anyone who goes and does it, right? Anyone who makes a board and sends me a picture, I'm going to enter you to win an entire year of monthly vision board check-ins with me. So once a month, we're going to get on Zoom for a half hour and we're going to talk about your vision board and we're going to sort of brainstorm how you're making it happen, right? Like it's like mini coaching for an entire year. We're going to do vision board check-ins. And that is going to be my gift to one of you who actually makes the vision board happen. And again, I don't care what it looks like. I just care that it's meaningful to you. And that we can use it as a springboard to make your year happen in a way that's really meaningful to you. Okay. And the last slide here, if you want to stay connected, I think most of you have found my website by now, amandakingsley.com. Oh, sorry, that's not even my website. amandastarkingsley.com. It's actually my middle name. My parents were sort of wannabe hippies. So on the website, you'll find weekly blogging. You're going to find podcasting, which Miss Tara and I do and rock at and have awesome vision for in 2018. You can also find my Facebook business page, Amanda Kingsley, but it's not my personal page. Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram where you're going to see all those questions, right? I ask tons of questions on Instagram. I do have a 9-week Live Your Why coaching program. And like I said, I am part of a network marketing team. So there's so many ways we can keep working together if you want to, but most importantly, I want this to have been a tool that you can walk away and learn from. If nothing else, learning how to make a screenshot or use Google Drive or that Pexel.com exists. I hope someone took something away from it that was helpful to you. All right, and I'm going to come off screen share. I'm actually going to stop the recording.